Have you ever felt that knot in your chest, that racing mind, and those sleepless nights caused by anxiety? What if I told you that ancient Buddhist teachings could provide you with powerful tools to calm that storm within? Today, we're going to explore 3 profound Buddhist teachings that not only help you overcome anxiety, but also guide you toward a more peaceful and present life. But first, take a deep breath. Right now, in this moment, you are here and you are safe. Together, let's uncover how these timeless principles can transform the way you handle stress, worry, and fear. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos that can help you live a more mindful and fulfilling life. Now, let's begin with the first teaching, the nature of impermanence. In Buddhist philosophy, impermanence, or anicca, is one of the 3 marks of existence. It reminds us that everything in life, our thoughts, emotions, and even the situations we face, is constantly changing. This concept may seem unsettling at first, but it holds the key to unlocking freedom from anxiety. Think about this. How often do you cling to a worry, replaying it in your mind as if it will last forever? Anxiety thrives on this illusion of permanence. We fear that a bad situation, a mistake, or a difficult emotion will define us indefinitely. But the truth is, just as waves rise and fall in the ocean, so do our thoughts and feelings. Here's a story to illustrate this teaching. Imagine a monk sitting by a river. One day, he notices a leaf floating downstream. He realizes that just like the leaf, every thought and feeling comes into existence, flows for a while, and then disappears. He doesn't need to grasp at it or fight it. It's simply part of the river of life. In your own life, you can practice observing your thoughts in this way. When anxiety arises, instead of clinging to it, recognize that it's temporary. Say to yourself, "This too shall pass." You don't need to resist or fight it. Just let it flow, like the leaf in the river. To integrate this teaching, try a simple meditation practice. Sit quietly for 5 minutes and focus on your breath. When a thought or worry arises, acknowledge it, but don't judge or attach yourself to it. Picture it as a cloud passing across the sky. It's there for a moment, but it will eventually drift away. By embracing impermanence, you begin to loosen anxiety's grip. You realize that no matter how intense the moment feels, it's not forever. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of those thoughts. Now that we've explored impermanence, let's move to the second teaching, mindfulness, or sati in Pali. This is one of the most practical and transformative tools Buddhism offers for overcoming anxiety. Have you ever noticed how anxiety pulls you away from the present? It traps you in a loop, worrying about the future or replaying past mistakes. But mindfulness teaches us to anchor ourselves in the present moment, the only moment that truly exists. Let's break this down. When you're caught in an anxious thought, what's happening? Your mind is creating stories. What if this happens? What if I fail? What will people think? These stories feel real because we feed them with our attention, but mindfulness interrupts this cycle by bringing us back to what is rather than what if. Consider this analogy. Imagine holding a glass of muddy water. If you keep shaking it, the water stays cloudy, making it impossible to see clearly. But if you set the glass down and let it be, the mud settles and the water becomes clear. Mindfulness is like setting the glass down. It helps you find clarity by observing your thoughts without stirring them up. One of the most effective ways to practice mindfulness is through conscious breathing. When you're feeling anxious, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Breathe in, slowly through your nose, hold for a moment and exhale fully. Focus all your attention on the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. This simple practice grounds you in the present and calms your nervous system. Here's a real-life story to bring this teaching to life. There was once a Zen master named Thich Nhat Hanh who taught his students the power of mindful breathing. He said, "Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. Imagine being like a mountain in a storm. The wind might howl, the rain might pour, but the mountain remains steady and unmoving. With mindfulness, you become that mountain, grounded and calm, no matter the chaos around you." Mindfulness also extends to everyday activities. When you're eating, for example, practice eating mindfully. Notice the colors, textures, and flavors of your food. When you're walking, feel each step and the connection of your feet with the ground. These small, mindful moments train your brain to stay present, reducing the tendency to spiral into anxious thoughts. The beauty of mindfulness is that it's accessible anytime, anywhere. You don't need a special space or equipment. It's simply about tuning into the here and now. When you're mindful, you're no longer trapped in the past or future. You're free to experience life as it unfolds. By incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine, you create a space of peace within yourself, no matter what's happening outside. Anxiety loses its power when you're firmly rooted in the present. Now that we've explored impermanence and mindfulness, let's dive into the third teaching, non-attachment, or upekkha. This principle is one of the most liberating ideas in Buddhist philosophy and can be a game changer when it comes to overcoming anxiety. Anxiety often stems from attachment to outcomes, to possessions, to people, or even to our identities. We become so tied to how we think things should be that any deviation feels unbearable. Non-attachment doesn't mean not caring or giving up on life. Rather, it's about cultivating a mindset of balance and freedom, allowing us to navigate life without clinging or resisting. Here's an analogy. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you grip it tightly, the sand slips through your fingers. But if you hold it with an open palm, the sand stays in place. Life is much the same. When we try to control everything, we create unnecessary stress and suffering. Non-attachment teaches us to let go of this tight grip and trust the natural flow of life. Let's look at how this applies to anxiety. When we're anxious, it's often because we're attached to a specific result. I must succeed in this job interview, or I need this relationship to work out. But the reality is, outcomes are rarely within our control. What we can control is our effort and how we respond to what happens. A famous Buddhist story illustrates this beautifully. A monk was crossing a river in a small boat when a storm arose, threatening to capsize the boat. Instead of panicking, the monk surrendered to the moment. He thought, if the boat sinks, I'll swim. If I can't swim, I'll float. And if I sink, then that will be my fate. By letting go of the fear of the storm, he found peace even in the midst of chaos. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference. It means embracing life with open hands, doing your best without clinging to the outcome. This mindset can be incredibly empowering. For example, if you're anxious about a presentation, focus on preparing and delivering it to the best of your ability. Release the need for perfection or validation from others. When you let go of the outcome, you free yourself from unnecessary pressure and allow room for growth and learning. Another practical way to cultivate non-attachment is through meditation. There's a meditation technique in which you visualize your worries as clouds in the sky. Instead of chasing them or trying to hold on to them, you simply observe them floating by. This practice helps you detach from anxious thoughts, realizing they're temporary and don't define you. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism is the idea that clinging to what we can't control only causes suffering. By letting go, we don't lose anything. Instead, we gain freedom. We gain the ability to live fully in the present without being weighed down by fear of the future or regrets from the past. Non-attachment doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice. But with time, it transforms your relationship with anxiety. You'll begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats. You'll trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way. As we wrap up this video, remember these three powerful teachings: the impermanence of all things, the grounding power of mindfulness, and the freedom that comes with non-attachment. Together, these principles form a roadmap for overcoming anxiety and embracing life with calm and confidence. If this video resonated with you, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. Share it with someone you think might benefit from these teachings. Spreading wisdom is one of the greatest acts of kindness. And before you go, leave a comment with your favorite takeaway or a moment in your life when you've applied one of these teachings. Let's continue this conversation and support one another on this journey toward peace and clarity. Thank you for watching, and may your path be filled with balance, mindfulness, and joy. See you in the next video.